Hello, and welcome to another edition of Enchanting Education. We're glad you have learned so much thus far, and are now at this point of your training. Sounds like you've received a mammoth scheduling request from Ms. Feathermore. This combines all previous situations into one, so this will be a great indicator as to whether you are ready to move forward. So let's get started. First, on the Ministry's company profile, click on OCI Schedules and select the 20th. Then, within the Edit tab, go down to Interview Length. Because of the influx of distinguished applicants, we will be changing their interview time length from 60 minutes to 30 minutes. Wonderful. Next, let's add that extra time slot to the end of this schedule. Go down to the time span section, hold Ctrl and select 4 p.m. to 4:25 p.m. Because each interval is 5 minutes long, a schedule at an indicated end time of 4:25 p.m. actually means 4:30 p.m. This is a very important concept to understand. Now we will need to address Ms. Feathermore's request to add Mr. Shacklebolt to the schedule and add an additional room and position. This is a bit trickier. The first thing we will need to do is add a position to the schedule. Go ahead and click on the Positions tab and select Add New. Once there, we can input the appropriate information. This new job title will be Arithmancer. It is a full-time, entry-level position, and the description for this position is Prediction with Numbers. Next, under Skills, we will select Mathematics and move on over to Complex Analysis. And underneath Desired Majors, we will select All Majors. Then underneath Location, we will select Yes for Nationwide and change the country to the UK. Right there. Wonderful. And at the bottom, for the GPA, we will input 3.0 and click Submit. You will now see the Arithmancer position in the positions listings. Brilliant. The next step we must do is to add a room. Go back to the Schedule Details tab and under the Rooms section, select an available room by holding Ctrl and clicking on your selection. Let's click on 414. To make sure the room is available, consult with the Outlook calendar. Right here you'll see we are on July 20th for 2016 and looking at the undergrad, MBA and BCC non-recruiting events calendars, we see no events. Thus, 414 should work for us. Once you have scheduled a second room, make sure you have saved your work by clicking on the Save button at the top of the page, or the bottom. Though adding the interviewers' names next to the rooms within the schedule can be very helpful, we don't need to do it in this case. Instead, to make sure that the Dragonologist room and the Arithmancer rooms are separate, we will go to the slot matrix. Wonderful. Now, within step 2, please select Arithmancer. We will make sure that Arithmancer is only within room 413, so let's click on the plus button up at the top to select all of the checkboxes, and then we will click on Save. After our computer thinks through that, we will now select Dragonologist from the drop-down menu. Let's deselect all of the checkboxes underneath 413 with the minus button, and then move over to 414, click the plus button, and then click Save. Brilliant! You are almost there. We only have 2 more changes to make. Next, we will manually add a student onto the schedule. Because of the polished and impressive resume of our star student, Brady Tangberg, the Ministry of Magic has overlooked his slight error in missing the resume submission deadline and has requested us to add him onto the schedule manually. To do this, at the very top of the page, click on the Students/Interviews tab, then click on Add New. You will find yourself on a new page where you can manually add students onto a schedule. On the student search bar, type in the student's name, in this case Brady Tangberg, and click on his name. Next, under the Positions drop-down menu, click on the position the recruiter asked to add him on. In this case, you will be adding Brady to the Arithmancer position. Because the recruiter has yet to make his final decisions on who is invited for interviews, we will leave it at that. Go ahead and click Submit. Well, you are finally at the last request of the schedule. By the time you are done with this, you will be ready for anything a recruiter throws at you. At the end of Ms. Feathermore's email, she remembers to ask you to change her OCI date from the 20th to the next day. Well, this is fortunately a very easy change. You must first consult the Comms tab about any specific blackout dates you should be aware of, and second, consult with the Outlook calendar for available rooms. You'll see here on the Comms tab that everything looks good to go. Then let's move on over to the Outlook calendar and check the 21st. Oh, looks like there are interviews on that date. For us, which is brilliant. We'll just leave it because we know that's the company for which we are making these changes for. If there seems to be no discrepancy with the rooms, or Ms. Feathermore is alright with the room changes, go ahead and change the OCI date. To do so, under the Schedule Details tab, go to the Date portion of the page. Under the drop-down menu, select the requested date, which will be the 21st. Scroll on down to the 21st. Wonderful, wonderful, and then we will click Save. Brilliant, you have done it, my friend. Truly brilliant work. Still have questions? Nudge one of your conjuring co-workers for some clarification. Thanks for joining us briefly for this edition of Enchanting Education. May your learning be lovely and your day be delightful. See you next time!